There are a lot of new faces here tonight at the New York Design Center, and many of whom belong to the new trads of 2013. Traditional Home is celebrating the launch of its semi-annual Trad Home magazine, as well as the 10 rising stars who grace its pages. Let's go meet the designers and find out how the traditional aesthetic is evolving. I'm Tori Mellott with Traditional Home. You're watching Editor TV. Okay, Ann, we're here at the New Young Trad Party. We want to know, everybody wants to know, what defines a new trad?
Oh, Tori, a new trad is a designer who embraces traditional home with their heart, but they find amazing ways to make it fresh, young, and exciting.
How do you think traditional is evolving? What do you think it looks like now?
Before my time, the traditional aesthetic was a very period room, very predictable room. It was beautifully done, gorgeous fabrics, amazing furniture, but you knew what to expect. As it evolved, we're mixing pieces, we're mixing periods, we're having fun with fabrics, we're letting it represent what we love, not necessarily what historians love.
I find that the aesthetic is definitely changing for the younger clientele, but they really appreciate the beautiful old architecture of the South, and so my job is really to kind of preserve that, but give them a fresh start.
And so how would you work in, for instance, like a really traditional swag? Like, how do you update that? How do you make it new and fresh?
Swag's got to go in the bin, honestly. But swag is usually covering up some beautiful drapery panels, so I have to say, let's toss the swag, let's get some new hardware, and maybe we can use the swag to reupholster the chair.
I like that. We're recycling.
Yes.
Very new trad.
Yes.
So how do you trick out trad?
It's taking the sort of essence of the design. So I think the traditional design works. The fact that you have curtains, a sofa, you know, those sort of elements.
Those things we need.
Those things we need. No, but you know what I mean. It's the traditional elements that you then, in the application and in the thinking, you subvert it or you do something with a twist. I think doing something from all one genre is not really reflective of our time. You mix old, you mix new, you mix high, you mix low, and it's all about that sort of interesting mix.
How do you update traditional? How do you trick it out?
I mean, for me, I like to keep it fresh and fun and have a fun mix of color and pattern. For some clients, that might be scary, and then it transitions into something with maybe interesting shapes of pieces or pieces that have kind of unique textures or kind of a fun mix.
What's the most unique piece that you've added to a project to sort of add that pizzazz?
There was a house I did in Las Vegas. It was like kind of a modern, sort of out of my comfort zone, to be honest, at first. And then I really got into it. And one of the things that I was most excited about was this steel-wrapped walnut cabinet. It was a custom cabinetry piece that we did, and it was so beautiful, a gunmetal steel finish, and it was very traditional in style, but totally untraditional materials. And that, to me, is that exciting mix that sort of plays to that new traditional for me.
Now tell me, how do you think the traditional aesthetic is evolving? How's it changing?
You know, I would say it's looser and it's lighter. There's a lot more white. There's a lot of sharp contrast, which I think is very stimulating and exciting. I think a lot of the heavy woods and browns are, you know, kind of by the wayside. And I would love to do a room with an ombre paneling, French oak paneling. I think it would be so beautiful.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
We love to use antique furniture, but then, you know, we'll trick it out with some great new fabrics or add some leather to toughen it up. We also love vintage pieces, which can infuse, you know, kind of a sense of whimsy into a project.
How do you define traditional?
I think traditional is what makes you feel like you're at home, what makes you feel comfortable, and I think for everybody that's different, and I believe that the word is evolving a little bit more. I think that's why we've seen more modern design. I think transitional is almost becoming a little more traditional. This was one of those events that I particularly was desperately excited to be hosting because I felt like anytime we can highlight new designers, new design, we love the online concept of the magazine, so we've always been so excited to host the magazine.
New trads are in full force tonight at the New York Design Center, and we are learning all about their unique brand of traditional. There's a lot more to learn, so stay tuned for part 2.